Hey there guys, I am SonicGhost and welcome to another challenge. Today we're here to play yet another Splatoon 3 challenge at the top of the hour. So take it away, Shiver, because guess what? Listen up, going down. Rep and Splatlands, we're D-Cut. Here we go. And to Key Splatcast, we are live to tell you that the latest challenge is none other than the Super Jump-a-thon. Super jump up and away! Stand by your teammates with their squid beacons. So we're playing this right as the challenge is just going live here. And this challenge, as the name implies, is all about them jumps. Super Jump-a-thon. Let's go ahead and jump right into the said challenge. Never fight alone with these high-speed super jumps to your allies' squid beacons. You can only use weapons with the squid beacon sub-weapon. Super jumps are much faster, and only primary gear abilities are enabled, except for the use of quick super jump and sub power up. Those abilities will not work for this said challenge, but secondary abilities will not have an effect as well. So let's go over a couple things. For one, this here is the weapon selection for the Super Jump-a-thon. A total of 10 weapons here, and they all have the squid beacon. So you can technically say it's 9 because we got the E-Leader here twice with its variant of the scope version, but hey, if you want to be technical, it's 10. So I will say this is a very interesting weapon selection, to say the least. But I do also want to talk about how this said super jumping works. So I'm actually going to equip me one of these weapons. And notice how on my said gear set, I do have some quick super jump on. So I'm going to take that stuff off and just kind of showcase something here first before we actually jump into the said challenge. Because we can put down a beacon here in the terminal and we can super jump. This is a normal super jump speed. Now, let's compare that speed to a bunch of sub power-up, which for the beacons, it will upgrade the sub weapon, specifically upgrading the jump timer to the said beacon itself. So I don't really have too many things that have a full set of sub power-up. I mainly just have the 2 different pieces of gear, so the headpiece and the shirt, and I have one thing here on my shoes. Now let's put down a beacon again and do the same super jump. Look at how fast that was with 2 full sets of pure sub power up along with just 1 extra sub power up. That was pretty fast. But it was also pretty slow without any super jump. And mind you, this also had one sub, of quick super jump. So we got things to compare here for the said challenge. So let's go ahead and jump straight into it. As always, I have myself some precious fits here assembled for the challenge, and this is the one we're going to start with, the Crack-On Splat Roller. So without any further ado, let's get this challenge started. We'll be playing our usual 5 games, see where we stand at the very end of that said qualifying set, and then I'll be playing more of this challenge after the fact. But this challenge here is tower control, so these beacons are going to be really useful for tower control with how the objective is going to move around on the map very frequently. And you can also put a beacon on the said tower so you can jump to the objective as long as there's something there. And since everyone's going to be rocking squid beacons, that is going to be an interesting thing to see how people are going to use them. Because in my experience, squid beacon is probably the least used sub-weapon in all of Splatoon. And this goes for all 3 games in terms of the player base. Because people most of the time don't use the beacons, either in terms of dropping them for their teammates or just in general knowing they're on the map, so that complicates things there. Now it's mainly that last factor I'm going to be curious about for this challenge. Are teammates going to notice the said beacons on their map and jump to them more frequently? We will find out. So let's go ahead and jump into our first game of tower control. So immediately starting off, we got a good variety here. And the other side have 2 E-Leaders, so they're going to have some pretty big snipers. So let's just get this started. Now, we're going to definitely want to pay attention to where people put their beacons here. And beacons are going to have another effect where when you put down a beacon, you can actually use it as, in some fashion, a little thing of, well, just enemy protection, or enemy detection, excuse me. It's hard to really word this. It kind of works as a point sensor. So if anyone's near the said beacon, they will show up on your map now. And that is going to help us when someone's nearby, because we can see if there's someone near an objective. Like in this case, we can see if someone's near a tower and use that just to gauge some information. Gonna scare that said E-leader off the perch. That's gonna help us out quite a lot. Put a beacon there. And now let's get a feel of this jump. Oh, that definitely is fast. Real fast. So in this challenge, I would recommend having stealth jump on for your shoes, because that's gonna be a very, very important ability. Like, look at how fast we jump back in. It's really, really good. And having stealth jump on is gonna make it so that the opposing side will never really see where we're jumping in if they're far enough away. So we're gonna need to use that to our advantage, because there's gonna be a lot of moments where we're gonna want to jump to a squid beacon that could be on the other side of the map, say like right here. So now I got a sneaky little beacon there in the corner, and we can jump to that whenever we need to. But keep in mind though, everyone can see those said beacons on the map. You can see it, the opposing team can see it, it doesn't matter. So you gotta be very mindful of that when you're jumping to a beacon. There could be an enemy just waiting there for you to jump. So if you're not paying attention, it could be a really devastating thing. I'm gonna poke this E-leader away from the ledge as best as I can. Let's get out of here, because thankfully with the super jumps being so fast, I can jump over here to where my teammate put down a beacon, and we're immediately out of the fray. I am noticing though that every beacon I've jumped to has immediately broken the moment I land, which is not normally the case. If you jump to your own squid beacon, that can happen, but if you're jumping to a teammate's squid beacon, that's not really going to be the case at all. In fact, you usually have more time to jump in a beacon. So usually you can jump 3 times to a said beacon before it breaks from your said teammates. So that the breaking once is helping with some balancing on how fast these beacons can just get you back into the battle for this said challenge. So that's a pretty good balancing effect. I don't know where the E-leader went. I saw him nearby, but now the E-leader's out of my sight. It's not great. I had a feeling that guy might see me too, because I might be rocking Ninja Squid for this. But with squid beacons everywhere, that might not matter in the long run, because squid beacons, they're gonna make my Ninja Squid null and void if I get close to one. So that's not great. Waiting for that Splatoon. I only poked a bit of him, not the whole thing. Not great. Just gonna get up here. Hey, at least I got the Dread Ringer, so that's something, I guess. No beacons on the map, that's not great, but that's fine because we can just put some down immediately. We'll put one here. I think my teammate just put one on the ledge. No, he did not. Okay. Put one here. To go over into this little alcove, because then I can see the guy nearby here if he's in range. I don't know if that works for the top layer of Undertale. I'm not 100% sure. I don't really play with beacons all that often. Beacons are not my go-to sub-weapon. It's probably the sub-weapon I use the least in a lot of ways. It depends on the weapon. Like, a lot of the weapons I'll play in Splatoon might have a beacon on them. Mainly with this one. Like, Crack-On Splat Roller is probably the weapon I've played the most in Splatoon history that have beacons. So this is probably the weapon, if I had to say. If I was going to use a beacon, probably with this one. I need someone to get close. Thank you. I was waiting for it. I had a feeling that the sniper was waiting for me too, but there's only so much you can do in that situation. I jump over here to my beacon. Did I jump to a teammate instead? I guess I did. Now here's the thing about the squid beacons. You can't select them with the D-pad here. Unlike your teammates where I can select someone with the D-pad and it will just keep the reticle on that said person. With the squid beacon, you gotta manually select that said person on your map, and that could be a little complicated if there are other things around you. Say other beacons you're trying to highlight or other teammates. Your cursor can go over those said items as well, and that makes it so you're gonna jump to those other objectives instead. So in the case there, I was jumping to a teammate, not a squid beacon. I didn't want that, but a teammate and squid beacons icons, they're pretty much right on top of each other. There's no way to really see. Like, this is what you got to see right here, right? But that's really what it was. It was 2 things just right on top of each other. Hard to see. But that's our first game. I wasn't even paying attention to half the game, I'm not gonna lie. Just kind of talking about how beacons work. Kind of just autopilot in that game. But hey, it worked out. We didn't get a knockout there, we got a good lead. So that's our first game done. So now I want to jump into game 2 with a different setup. And this one's going to demonstrate another shoe ability you may want for this challenge. But I would still recommend using Stealth Jump. And we'll talk about that when I swap my gear. So the next thing we have in question here is the Splatoon Wiper Deco. So I'm going to use this one with Drop Roller on as my main ability. So to talk about how Drop Roll works is that when you jump, if you hold a direction when you land, in the case here I'll hold left, I will roll to the left. Now, that's really good to get you out of a situation, and it will let you attack an enemy immediately. And it does give you a few frames of ink resist up, so that will help in that situation of just keeping you mobile. But at the same time, you're not going to be stuck in enemy ink too long, taking too much chip damage, and then just immediately die. Just from, like, say, a random fall-off shot from someone, right? But the thing is, though, with Drop Roll in this challenge, there's so much going on that Stealth Jump is still probably going to be more beneficial. And mainly just because of how easy it is to still counter someone with Drop Roll, because you'll see where the person is jumping from at that point in your map. Or not on your map, on the field, excuse me. So it's easy enough for you to counter that, even with Drop Roll still giving you a little bit of protection. If the person can anticipate which direction you're going to move, then from there, that said opponent will now focus on where you're moving, making your life a lot harder. So Drop Roll is going to be a really questionable ability in this sense. It's going to be good, going to be bad. It's just going to really depend on a lot of factors. So we'll have to just be careful about that. We didn't get the kill there, but we got the assist, so that's fine. So now, gotta be careful, they do have a cool on the field. I'm gonna jump here to my teammate and immediately hold backwards. Looks like we're good there. Gonna put a beacon here. Okay, my teammate got the other one, that's fine. This guy here is putting down wave. I don't think they're still here. Oh, kind of. They were going to the tower, but they didn't really get to it. I'm gonna use my missiles here, missile the one guy right in front of us. That tells me he's nearby. Gonna use missiles to my advantage here just to get some information. Gonna go down below, put a beacon on the side. Get on the said tower here for a second. That's perfectly fine. Push it a little bit further, right into the checkpoint. We got a good lead here. My team is continuously pushing that said lead, trying to secure it as best as they can. I'm gonna roll, get on the tower, gonna put down a beacon, and I think that's GG's. Yeah, that's GG's. That was a really simple yet fast game. We'll take it. This is a big parallel compared to last challenge we did. If you remember that Splat Bomb challenge, please don't. That's all I'll say if you didn't see the video. Let's just say we didn't have the easiest time in that challenge. So, I'm happy so far that we're doing well. Incoming the downwards trend of games. Calling it now. Usually we say something that hardcore jinxes us like minute 1. But that was a pretty fast and solid game for us. Let's go ahead and move on to our next weapon here. So, hey, I got Precious sticker. Neat. I get me an extra little thing later on when I'm done in the terminal. Get a little sticker of my weapon. Alright, next weapon, to get back on topic, is Dapple Dualies. Now these, just like with the Splatoon Wiper, I have quick respawn on because I'm very certain I'm going to need them. But I'm also wanting to use this for the cooler, because this is the only tactical weapon available for the said challenge. So I'm going to definitely want to see how that affects our said squid beacons here, because when you have tactical, well, needless to say, your jumps are powered up. So they're almost instantaneous with the cooler's effect in normal gameplay. So something tells me this may not really do anything at all for the said challenge, because here we have such a fast super jump. It might as well be we have a full set of quick super jump on our character setup. And then the squid beacons also power up. It's pretty much a pure of everything for both of the abilities when you want to break it down. At least in terms of just how it feels. I love frame 1, both did the same thing. Careful here, because that's a tent. I don't want to get in front of the tent umbrella. There we go. Now I want to get in front of the umbrella. Unfortunately, couldn't get around the corner fast enough there, and the roller got me. But my team is kind of contesting it. They're having a hard time, which is fair. Want to get back in here. Oh, I almost fell right into that roller. That would have been really bad. And then I still was attacked by the roller, so I couldn't get away in time. That's unfortunate. I heard a cooler earlier. I don't know if we'll be able to even get the coolers ourselves. I might want to focus on getting that on my own. That was bad. Go, go, go. Oh, come on. Couldn't move. I literally could not move in that situation. All right, my team has to take them out now. All right, I just have to try in case the challenge fails. All right, good call. Because they're literally at the checkpoint area. All right, well, you know what? That's fine. That might look really weird that I just randomly super jumped, but if I wasn't making a YouTube video right now, I wouldn't have done that. So I think that proved my point. Super jumping with the cooler doesn't change at all. You're still jumping as fast as you are with cooler drink and without cooler drink. Basically the same time frame. So use the cooler in this challenge specifically for the other benefits, like the super fast quick respawn time and the fact you save all your special. Use it for those purposes, not the last one of getting a super fast jump. That specific trait won't matter in this challenge because of just how fast you jump on its own. Not surprised me on a rough time with this said weapon though, because I'm terrible with dapple dualies. They're just not my thing. So I try my best with it. But let's move on to our next weapon here, the Dreadringer D. Gonna drop my little structures all over the place as interns on a said social media account say, and see how well this one works. If I play Dreadringer, I don't really play this one. I usually play the normal Dreadringer just because Suction Bomb and Reef Slider have a little bit of a better synergy compared to Squid Beacon and Wavebreaker. They kind of both do a similar thing when you think about it. Squid Beacon you put down, they'll tell you when someone's nearby, I think it's a point sensor. Wavebreaker will shoot out waves, telling people that there's opponents nearby if they get hit, as a point sensor does. And then also the echolocator ability here on the said special for about 2 seconds, revealing everyone that's nearby. All this kind of just does the same thing. So it's like, it's a perfect synergy kit when it comes to function. It's just kind of hard to use in a lot of situations. Are we never gonna go to Brime, by the way? This is our 4th Undertow game yet. Come on. I mean, I like Undertow as much as the next guy, I guess, but Brime Water is also in rotation too, right? It got some tweaks in the said season patch. I kind of want to go to Brime. I have not actually played Brime Water Splatoon yet, and I want to see what they've changed. But I can't do that if we keep on going here to Undertow Spillway. It's just too much Undertow. Now, well, hopefully, we'll be going to the next one in the next game. I'd really like to go to the other map. Just get back into the action here. I don't think I can kill anymore. You pretty much got your health back, if I'm not mistaken. I don't even know where that cooler was. I really wish the game did a better job telling you. Like, I'm only now seeing it was in the corner of my eye. But that's all you get. It's just that little flashing icon on screen. It doesn't even show the cooler on the map for whatever reason. And I don't know why about that one specifically. Why isn't it on your map? Just put it on the map, guys. It's been almost 2 years since this game has come out, and that has not been, a thing in the updates. Like, I can't understand why. I really can't. Not a great game for us, by the way. How am I not surprised? We win 2 games and shoom, 2100 power. We started fighting 1900s. I think we jumped a little too far up on that calculation list, so now the game had to throw us into the deep end. So remember that thing I said before, we jinx ourselves immediately? I don't know what's a better example in the last 2 games, just saying. But that was game 4. Game 3 and 4 just kind of blew by. I love getting #1 overall splatter with 1 kill. Just rub the salt right in the wound, why don't you? Because that is just an insult. Your best kill was 1. GG's, you barely did something. Thanks. Let's finish this up with the other dually here in this rotation, the custom dually squelchers. And hope we get the other maps. Seriously, man. It's in rotation, I think. It's just hard to notice that when we keep on playing nothing but this specific Undertow rotation. Hopefully it's not just the Undertow only show, am I right? One small detail I want to mention with this said weapon is that you shoot it 2 hands, you do the roll, you combine it into one, you can jump and still keep that said combined state for a bit here. It's the only dually that can actually change its accuracy depending on its roll because you have 2 shots to 1 shot. But also it's the only one you can just jump out of a roll, which is pretty interesting. Also, this is just the dual squelcher from Splatoon 1 broken up into 2 different weapons that you latch back onto each other to create the dual squelcher once again. It's a really interesting weapon. It's one of the weirder ones when you think about it, because it's the only weapon from Splatoon 1 that's never returned outside of Splatoon 1, the dual squelcher. But the dually squelchers is the dual squelcher. So it did return. It's a weird technical situation. Oh, come on! No brine water? Come on, man. I feel gypped. Why does this always happen? Why is it always when I want to play the other map, I never get there? I get 5 undertows in a row. Come on, man. That's like, go get a lottery ticket for bad luck. Because that's what this was. Okay, gotta go. Gotta be very careful here, because my weapon does use a lot of ink. I do have comeback on, so I will get a main of ink when I die. That's only for 20 seconds, so at 20 seconds, I gotta make count. Starting now. So, let's jump in and hope that we can actually do this. Oh, there goes that beacon. Oh, I'm getting targeted over here. That's really bad. Just gotta stay far away. Didn't need to put that beacon there in hindsight, 'cause there's another one I only just now noticed. Where is this? Okay, he's jumping. Let's say, where's this guy? I saw some dude down below. Okay, teammate got you. I see we're doing some chump action. Don't mind if I join you. No, it's maybe bad. Okay, surprisingly, no. Unfortunately, it was bad later. So it's a very back and forth situation for me there. Jump back in, being very careful here. Don't need to put down a beacon in that spot. It's probably a better idea if we don't. I'm gonna drop down, put a beacon here. I wanna put them in areas where people aren't gonna look immediately for it, because then they can just easily be destroyed. There's a guy right there. Watch out, teammate. Yeah, he didn't watch out. Oh, that looks like a 3v1 situation. That's not great. Teammate's gonna have a hard time if they didn't already... Oh no, they're still out there. They're still fighting. Surprising. I'm gonna jump in. Nice protection. The thing is with squid beacons, you can actually put them down to use them as some form of protection as well. Because if you're behind the squid beacon, they will take that shot for you. Now, mind you, squid beacons don't have don't have as much health as you would think. They can be very easily destroyed, and that's something you gotta be very careful of as well. So you gotta keep in mind that their health is not gonna be permanent, and because of that, don't stand behind it for too long. But it is still a good strategy to use squid beacon sometimes as a layer of protection. So keep that in mind when playing this challenge as well. Now, if you're facing someone that has Object Shredder on, which you don't really see much in Splatoon 3, not gonna lie, but if you do see someone using Object Shredder, that will one-shot the said squid beacon. It'll immediately destroy it. So if someone is using Object Shredder, you have to be careful of that, because they will just immediately destroy that beacon that you're hiding behind, and now they can destroy you. In this game, we don't have anyone using it, but you'll know because it's a shoe exclusive ability. So just look at someone's shoes, see if they have it on. If they do, you just have to be careful of your said beacons being destroyed instantly. But mind you, all these beacons here, as you're seeing, we're destroying really fast anyway, so it's not really gonna matter if you have Object Shredder in this or not. I just don't really recommend using it outside of Rainmaker. That's its best mode. Any other mode and Object Shredder doesn't really do too much. It was more useful in like the early days of Splatoon 3 when the crab meta was all over the place. So crab was a good thing to use Object Shredder on, just because that did a lot to the set crab. So that was really when you saw a lot of people rocking Splatoon 3 specifically. Alright, we're doing good here. I'm gonna put this beacon down so I can see if anyone's getting near tower. So that'll just be a mobile point sensor. There should be someone here. Yep, there we go. I had a feeling someone's gonna jump in. Oh man, I was one shot away from getting that. Ooh, are you serious? How do you get 2 people? That's really bad. Like, they're pushing ahead. There we go, another wipeout. So now you can just take that tower back. This has not been looking good for us after game 2. I'm not gonna lie. I get rid of the beacon. Oh god, that's a Yep, just gotta be careful of the sploosh. Like my teammate got the sploosh. I heard the ouch, so somewhere nearby here. Oh, I see you now. They're going around somewhere. I don't know where that brush went. Oh, come on. It's really hard to fight all the weapons in this one because if I get confronted with the roller, he just instantly takes me out. If I get confronted by the sploosh, I gotta be really careful of that said timing of the said sploosh because that sploosh does a lot of damage up close. So I don't want to run to up close. Dually Squelcher's better to me because I'm not great at Dually Squelcher. And then Auto Brush is just aggressive. So, needless to say, no matter what I'm fighting, it's just kind of hard to fight against in this one. Okay, gotta be careful with the said brush over here. I see the man. I would have killed him if I was continuing shooting. It's not great that I only noticed that after the fact. Alright, they lost the tower, but there's nowhere near it, so they can get it back. And it's now the last 10 seconds. If we don't get them off the tower immediately, that is going to be game. There's no way we can trigger overtime. Yeah, that was really bad. They might have taken the tower for a split second, but my team all got destroyed. So we couldn't keep the tower. So that's it. 2 wins, 3 losses. It's not the best showing, but at the same time, I'm happy with how I played, because this is kind of hard. Most of the weapons in this said rotation, I never play. So I was not expecting to do all that great in this one for that reason alone. I did the best I can do given the weapon setup, so I don't expect this to be that high. It's probably going to be like a 1700, maybe 18 at most. 1865 is higher than I thought though, but I was kind of close when I said 1800 then. Didn't think it'd be that high though. An 1865 is pretty impressive given just how hit or miss that was for me. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. Again, I don't play with any of these weapons normally in this said challenge. I don't. Because most of the weapons here that have the squid beacon, I just find are hard to use. Neo Sploosh is a weapon you gotta use up close. Makes it really hard. Crack-on Roller, same kind of problem. You gotta be up close a lot of times. Same for Octobrush. Same for Dapple Dualies. Same for Splatoon, a Wiper. I don't know if you noticed the trend yet, but a lot of the weapons that tend to get the beacon sub in Splatoon happen to be close-ranged weapons. Now, mind you, it's not always the case, like the Dually Squelchers here, the custom E-Leader, the Tent. Like, these weapons, they're good ranged weapons, especially the E-Leader, because it's just a sniper. And you can make arguments that, you know, the Crack-on Roller you can use for good distance gameplay, and then same for Splatoon Wiper, because it has some really good distance for its flings, but obviously it does a lot more damage up close, and same for the Crack-on Roller. So, this one, definitely one of the harder challenges I've played in a while, but again, it's mainly because of the weapon set. I'm just not great with a lot of these weapons, personally, but I found it to be interesting. Just seeing the jump speed, just being instantly of you just, whoop, like instantly take off when you select an icon. Doesn't matter if it's a teammate or it's a squid beacon, just seeing how fast you jump, I think that's just worth playing the challenge on its own. It is a hard one, especially because a lot of these weapons are pretty difficult to use, so do keep that in mind, but I do think this one's pretty interesting, especially having beacons all over the map. It gives you a lot of information because now you can see when people are nearby those said beacons, and since they're everywhere on this challenge, basically the entire time you look at the map, if your beacons are on the map, you're going to see where the enemies are. Just hands down. So I found that to be a very interesting setup. Mind you, it's also going to depend on your teammates for how they use squid beacons, for how easy or difficult this can be too. So I would really recommend, of all the challenges, this one especially, play with a group in a squad of some kind, because this one would really benefit with friends, putting down squid beacons and you coordinate with your friends in some kind of voice call, because that'll take the most advantage of the said squid beacon sub. It's really going to help for information's sake, but also just to get you back in the match faster and safer. But that's going to do it for the said challenge. So, very interesting one, and if you want to see more of this challenge, I actually did a live stream of this during the final rotation that it was available on this said day. So if you want to see more of the Super Jump-a-thon, go ahead and check out that VOD from that said live stream, which will be down in the description below and at the end of the said video in the end card. But that's going to do it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.